Hi guys, so this is the sixth video on MySQL and MySQL Connect. So what we're going to talk about is MySQL constraint. I'm going to clear your doubts about unique constraint and primary constraint if you have read about these constraints before. Okay, and I'll also tell you how to apply these constraints when you're creating a table. And after that, if I have time, if my video is not too long, I'll also explain you about alt table. Okay, so let's get started. So yeah, let's get started with constraints. So before explaining you the first constraint, let me first tell you what the syntax for MySQL is. So it's a simple create table statement, right? You get a simple create table statement. You write here the table name. Just a second. Yeah, you write here your table name. This is your table name, and inside you open bracket, then you have your field name with your data type, whatever the field name is. For example, let's take name, and with the data type varchar 255. Okay, after this, before the comma, before you get there's a comma, right? And then you have another field name. So before entering another field name, this is where you put your constraint. So this is our first constraint, not null. Okay, so let us learn. This is a syntax. This is also used in Python connector as well. So let's get started with not null. What do you understand by not null? Okay, as the name suggests, not null means the value, entering a value which is not null, right? So I explain you how to enter a null value. So if you have entered the field name and after that you have put a constraint that is not null, then you won't be able to add a null value. For example, you wrote a syntax for null, right? And you pressed enter in MySQL or in Python. So you'll get an error. Okay. So this is what's constraint. I hope you understand with this what a constraint is. That means a restriction, type of restriction. And this is your not null. Okay, so the next constraint is default, as the name suggests, default. Syntax is pretty simple. You have your field name, data type, then you write default and the bracket Harry. So what does this mean? Let me explain you what this means. Just wait a second. Yeah, so this is your default, the syntax for default. It's pretty simple to understand. Whatever field name you have, name, class, whatever it is, the default value of that field name is the thing which you have entered, is the string or is the integer which you have entered inside the parenthesis of the default statement. I hope that's not too long. The definition is not too long. I'll explain you. Let's take an example. For example, you have a field name called name. Okay, you have entered the data type varchar. Okay, this is the data type. If you have entered the data type varchar and after that you have entered default and then Harry. Okay, so what does this mean? For example, if you write a null syntax, right? If you want to pull, if you haven't entered any value in a field name, right? I hope you remember how to selectively add data to a field name. Okay, for example, if I want to add, there are 3 columns. How would I add a record for where I fill only two fields? Okay, so if you don't know, or if you haven't watched my previous video, I'll highly recommend you to watch it. Okay, so field name. So I hope you understand. If there is a null value, it's if there is null, if I'm entering the syntax for null, or if I'm selectively choosing the field name, the default value is going to be Harry. Okay, so let me explain you more clearly. Right, after this, if I insert into whatever my table is, insert into table, of course, my table, whatever my table is, and I select my field name, that is name, comma, class, comma, section. Okay, and values, the entered values are, or there are 3 sections, there are 3 field names, but I only wish to enter my record for 2 field names, right? I do not wish to enter this record. And note that I'm entering the syntax after I have entered this syntax. Okay, so values, inside values, I have to first add my class, and then I have to add my section, whatever it is. Okay, then I have to add my section. So what is going to do, if you write select star from whatever the table name is, you'll get your name, you'll get your class, and you'll get your section. Okay, after that you'll get Harry. This is the first record which you have entered, 12 and A. I hope you understand now perfectly. Okay, so the next constraint is unique. as the name suggests, again, it's very simple to understand. Unique means unique value. So syntax is very similar to what we have learned for not null and default. You just have to write unique after the field name or your data type. Right. So what it's going to do, it's actually going to protect the duplicacy of values or records. Right. For example, I've entered two records with similar whatever the field name is. Right. If the field name is name, so for example, I've entered two records with same name, and then I've entered unique when I'm creating my table. When I've created my table, then it's going to give error because I cannot have two same names. Right. So this is the property of unique. Right. This is similar to the primary function. If you have your primary constraint or a primary function, but as the name suggests, it's primary. That means we cannot give this restriction, or we cannot give this privilege, the primary privilege, to many fields. Okay, you can write duplicate, or sorry, you can write unique to protect the duplicacy of field name to every field name. Okay, so you can have another field name, whatever it is, and whatever it is, and then you can write unique. Okay, but this is not true for primary. You can only write primary for a single field name. Okay, so that's the major difference between unique and primary. Okay, so the next constraint, or the fifth constraint, is check. The syntax is written above. It's very simple to understand. You have your field name, you have your data type, then you have to write check, and then inside the parenthesis of check, you have to write field name and the condition. For example, I have my roll number. Okay, the field name is roll number. Just me, right? Roll number, and data type int, as you all know. So inside the check, I can write roll number, the field name, roll number should not be greater than 10. Should be greater than 10. I'm sorry. Should be greater than 10. Right. It's very easy to understand. Or you can write equal to. You can write less than equal to, greater than equal to. Okay, this is the constraint which will ensure that my roll number is less than equal to whatever I'm applying, 10. Okay, so this is an example which I gave to you. Right, so you can do similar to the string. Okay, for example, you have name, or I should say department. If you add department, and it's not going to be int, it's another example, varchar. Okay, and check, inside check you write department again, and department is equals to whatever department you require. Right, whatever department you require. So that's it. I think check. We are done with check. We are done with primary, unique, default, not none. Yeah, so that's it. So that's it for constraint. Let's move ahead. Okay, so next is alter table, or we should do alter table tomorrow, because alter table is gonna take I think a long time. I think alter table is gonna take 20 minutes. So that's why I'm not gonna include alter table in this video. Let me just give you a brief about what alter table is. It's a command. Okay, I'm not gonna tell you the syntax because syntax is different for every command. So with the help of alter table command, what you can do is you can add a column. Okay, you can add an constraint. Okay, constraint. You can redefine a column. That means redefine a column. Let me write the define a column. That means change data type, and what you can do is change size, change data type, size, default value, and many more. Okay, so these are the three basic concept, or three basic functionality of alter table. So let's see you tomorrow with the syntax of alter table in MySQL and MySQL connector both. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day, and please subscribe to my channel if you are new. And if you want to learn MySQL, don't continue with this. Okay, continue from the first one. Okay, we have learned a lot about MySQL from the beginning. Okay, and please subscribe to my channel. It's free.